the Disney Vibes Podcast, talking insider tips, tricks, and pixie dust. For the most magical place on Earth, here's Andrew and Heather.
Hello, everybody. Once again, welcome to the Disney Vibes Podcast. I am Andrew.
I am Heather.
How's everybody doing this week? We hope you're doing well. Got a lot of good Disney vibes going on. A lot of news in the Disney world.
There are. A very exciting day here if you are interested in investing in the Disney annual passes. We're going to go over what they entail. There's 4 different tiers, I guess you could say. We're going to go over them, what they offer, how much they are, and just kind of like discuss, would we invest in it or should you invest in it? So with that said, Andrew, do you want to just get right into it?
Yeah, that's fine. So basically the annual pass holder program, was kind of shut down with COVID. Right. They allowed you to continue your pass. Some people got refunds, so on and so forth. So it varied on different levels based on what you needed. But they did introduce their brand new program for annual pass holders. A lot of differences in these passes when compared to the value of the old passes, which were silver, gold, platinum, and platinum plus. So they actually went on sale today, so this may be a couple days late by the time you hear this, but September 8th is when the passes went on sale today, and there are 4 tiers still, and you want to talk about the first one?
Yes, I can. So the highest tier is the Disney Incredipass, which is $1,299 plus tax, and it has no blackout dates, and it has the ability to hold 5 park reservations at once.
Right. So the park reservations, the reason why that's important is Disney is obviously trying to control crowds, as we know. And they are trying to ensure that the number of people in any given park at any given time, the capacity is controlled. So that being said, they will be able to see how many people are going to be slated to come into a specific park on a certain day. So that's why you're going to need those reservations. And when it says 5 park reservations at a time, those are those for those dates that you want to go to the park. Now, there may be some cancellation policies if you're an annual pass holder and you don't show up. There's been a lot of talk about that on the Diz boards and everything like that, and we'll get to that at a later date. But overall, the Incredipass is basically it's replacing the Platinum Plus.
Right.
So the Platinum Plus pass was the highest tier, had a lot of things. There are some things that have been removed from the pass, such as PhotoPass, the Memory Maker, which, honestly, I don't understand why they removed that. It's not costing Disney anything. I mean, I guess, all right, it's costing them the price of the photographer in the park, but at the same time, it's not like they're printing and framing photos for you. So they removed that from their annual pass perks, which I don't know. How do you feel about that?
I don't know, because, it's interesting. When you go to Disney, you have the option of having your picture taken by the photographers, but they also will take your photo using your cell phone. They don't tell you no. So it's kind of like, I get it, because then, maybe just because you have the, the images from the rides that you can't get.
Right.
Would be more valuable, but and then maybe Disney makes the money when you buy like the frames, their specialized frames that you want to put them in from the gift shops. But it's nothing really to me that's like, oh my God, I need to get this because I want the PhotoPass.
Right. I think it was just one of those added value perks,
and sound good.
Yeah. But it's an added value in the sense that, okay, we're giving you something at this level, at this tier. And, I get it. Disney's in it to make money. They have shareholders that they have to answer to. They've lost billions and billions of dollars due to the pandemic. But I don't see this being somewhere. You're not going to recoup those billions of dollars, let's be honest. But you have to set your sights on where you're going to move from here, because you do have to answer to your shareholders. So, that is one thing that was removed was the PhotoPass. So definitely a little disappointed in that regard. Another thing is the water parks and the sports admission. Again, it's going to cost you an extra $99 plus tax each time you add that to an annual pass. So I don't want to say they're nickel and diming you, but it kind of seems that way. We've never gone to the water parks ourselves at this point right now. There's 2 water parks. but we just, due to the height requirements for certain water slides, and like we mentioned, Jameson's only 4. He hits about 41, 42 inches. He loves to get measured, but, when we go on the lines for the rides, but he, I don't think, the water parks are in our near future anyway. So that's not like a make or break for me. But some people, listen, you know what? The water parks are a good way to, get off the regular routine, off the rails of going to a park, and you go to, Blizzard Beach or Typhoon Lagoon for the day, and they close at 6 and, typically, and then you move on, go back to your resort or what have you.
Right. Now, I believe this is the only pass where people who live out of state, out of Florida, can invest in?
That is correct, yes. So go ahead.
Well, kind of explain that to me. So, I understand, obviously, this would be the only one that we would, be allowed to, besides being a DVC member. But, I don't...
It's no joke in price-wise. Just looking... it's listed on Disney World's website today.
Okay.
It's $12.99 plus tax, and with the tax, it was like $13.81, I believe, and that's before any of those added values that we talked about. So it could add up to $99 a month. If you want the Incredipass for the Florida residents. And that's after a $205 down payment. Now, if you are out of state, the big thing is you'd still have to make that down payment, but you do not have the monthly option. If you think about it, $12.99 plus tax, that's almost a mortgage payment on your house, let's be honest. So it is a hefty amount when it comes to that. I don't know. I have mixed feelings. I understand. I think they would sell more of the Incredipasses if they gave people the monthly option.
I agree, 100%.
But I do understand why they're not. And my reason behind that is, if you think about it, okay, I live in Indiana, and I am coming to Disney World, and I'm going to be there, 2 months from now, let's say Christmas time, November, December, and I put my $205 down, and I spend, another $200, just to get, for my monthly payment. That gives me $405, let's say, on average for my annual pass. Well, I go to my trip, and if I'm not coming back again within a year, I cancel. I don't pay the rest of my bill. So from a business sense, Disney has to do it where the people that are going to be going to the parks are going to show up, and they're going to be making their payments and definitely going to the parks throughout the course of a year.
I did not think of that.
So, and listen, we know, there's a lot of people on tough times. So I can understand why they're keeping that strictly for Florida residents.
Sure.
So we started with the highest tier. You just like to go for it all. You really don't want to.
Up high.
You don't like to ease people into the painful components of everything. But
so that was the Disney Incredipass. So let's bring it down a little bit to Disney's Sorcerer Pass. And that is $8.99 plus tax.
Yep.
And there are some blackout dates, and has the ability to hold, again, 5 reservations at once. And this tier is available to Disney Vacation Club members as well as Florida residents.
Right. So when you talk about DVC members, for those who are not familiar with DVC, which is the acronym for Disney Vacation Club, basically Disney Vacation Club is Disney's take on timeshares. It's a completely different system to a degree because you're not set into a certain week annually, but you do have an allocation of points where you are able to book certain different levels of accommodations based on your number of points. Obviously, the point charts changed.
Seasonally.
They vary based on the time of the year. Obviously, holidays and peak times are a lot more points to book a room than something that would be considered more of an off-season. So for those who are not familiar with DVC. Now, the one caveat for the annual pass is, as a DVC member, you have to have a direct ownership purchase through Disney. So basically through Disney Vacation Development, they call it, which is the DVC component of Disney World. And you need to have purchased at least 150 points, I believe it is up to, directly through Disney as Disney Vacation Club members to be able to access this. Now, their buy-ins and their minimum point requirements were 25 points, 50, 75. They've really been amping it up the last couple of years because of the resale market. So it's not going to be accessible for everyone, just because of that reason. But when you're looking at, without going off on a tangent about DVC and you're spending close to $200 a point, or the resale, right now resales are through the roof anyways, but in typical, you maybe get a little, half that for a price per point. You save the money on the front end, but then you don't get this kind of perk. So, I don't know. I think it's fine. There are a lot of people for Disney Vacation Club that this will benefit. But there are blackout dates as well. And I believe, I was trying, the Disney website's been very wonky today, for lack of a better term. But I've been looking, and, some of those peak times, the Christmas winter recess break, Thanksgiving break, around the Easter spring break for kids, all those, they could be blacked out. So if you're a DVC member, you're planning on coming to Florida for those times of the year, the challenge is going to be your pass may not even work. That's what it comes down to. And why would you want to spend that at that point?
Right.
So the holiday periods are the big thing with that. So, so that's the $8.99. So what's next?
So if we go down to our next tier, that is called the Disney Pirate Pass, which is $6.99. And it has blackout dates during peak times and holidays, and has the ability to hold 4 park reservations at once. So this is the first one where you have a decrease in your park reservations. And this is the only tier available to Florida residents.
Right. So any of these passes now, if you're out of state and you're not a DVC member, you basically need to be a Florida resident in order to obtain one of these passes. And when we talk about, blackout dates and, during holidays and peak times, I think what defines a peak time is going to be up to, the Disney parks, and management staff. So they're going to figure out, okay, looking at attendance, looking at how many people are making, those park reservations, Josh Tomorrow, who's in charge of Disney parks, will be like, okay, we may need to black this out, maybe not. And I don't know if they're going to do that on an annual rolling basis, or they're going to, tweak that as it goes. Who knows? That remains to be seen.
Right. So if we go down to our last annual pass, this is the final tier, and it's called Disney's Pixie Pass, which is $3.99 plus tax. And we do have blackout dates on holidays, during peak times, and all weekends.
It's called Pixie Dust.
I said Pixie. It's Pixie Pass.
It's called the Pixie Dust.
Okay. Well, sorry. My bad. All right. So hold on. So as Andrew just corrected me, it is the Disney Pixie Dust Pass, and it is $3.99 plus tax. It does have the blackout dates on holidays, during peak times, and all weekends. Has the ability to hold now just 3 park reservations at once. This tier is also available to Florida residents, and Florida residents are also the only ones who can use a monthly payment plan for this annual pass. And
right, $19 a month. After your initial $205 down payment, that is the down payment for all tiers of the annual pass holders. But again, you're not going on any weekends.
Right.
Done. So, $19 a month, $399 plus tax sounds, great at the beginning, but when you start to look at the dates that are available, it could become quite challenging.
I think what this has done possibly for Florida residents, if you think of it this way, is it's like you kind of can't just take a spontaneous trip to Disney, be like, you know what, let's go to Disney on Saturday. Whereas, if you have the Pixie Dust Pass, that's your blackout date. So no, you can't go. So it forces you to really plan out your trip and to, secure your park reservation. So I just want to make a clarification. And Andrew, you helped me understand this. When we talk about, say, 5 park reservations at once, and I'm going for 7 days, I'm going for a week, what does that mean?
So basically, if you're a pass holder and you're staying on property, so select Disney resorts or other select hotels, you can make park reservations for each day of your resort stay. So that doesn't include those 5 park reservations that you can make. Those are in addition. And again, that really is more geared and tiered towards the Florida residents because they may not be staying on property. But if you are an IncrediPass owner and you are coming from Ohio, if you're staying at the beach club for 7 days, you can make 7 park reservations. That's not a problem. That you're staying on their property, they're going to know that. They'll have your, in the system with your hotel reservation. So it's just those other dates that if you're staying off property, if you're not on their property. So it's kind of trying to get you to stay on property again by giving you as many days as you're staying on and let's say 5 additional park reservations.
Okay. I got it now. That because, when they write it down on paper, it can be confusing to try to decipher. So thank you for clarifying.
Right. And there's a bunch of perks that, they're still allowing and allocating for annual pass holders. Obviously standard theme park parking will be included. Because that can add up, if it's $25 a day, if you're going, 10 times a year. You can also get the 20% off savings on dining, merchandise, and some more. But that's kind of, I think, going to replace the Tables of Wonderland for those who are familiar with the Tables of Wonderland discount card, which allowed you to get discounts at certain restaurants. What we've experienced, too, is a lot of the restaurants, the table service is where you can get a discount. And it says up to. There's your keywords. Up to 20%. They could be giving you 10%. So, if they're going to give you 10% off at Casey's Corner on a hot dog, it's not going to add up, as quickly as if you were having a full-blown meal at Ohana at Polynesian Resort. So, that up to 20 could be whatever they decide and whatever the discretion is and what, the cast members are told that they're allocated to do. So they will give you access to bonus reservations. That's one thing. And then you can customize your pass with, like we said, the photo pass downloads or water park and sports options. So
there's spa offers there too for my people who love to, invest in some relaxation and pamper yourself. I have yet to do that. Maybe one day.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to be going to the spa. So
I can only wish one day.
Right. The other thing is if you're a current annual pass holder at Walt Disney World, so based on your tier, you can renew to one of the new passes, and the prices for renewing your current annual pass is a little bit cheaper. You save a little bit of money. So if you're a current pass member and you want to renew to the Disney IncrediPass, it's $1,104 plus tax. The Sorcerer Pass is $764 plus tax. The Disney Pirate Pass is $594 plus tax. And the Disney Pixie Dust Pass is $339 plus tax. So, as of September 8th, all current annual pass holders are able to hold that 5 park pass reservations at once. Up until this point, they were only allowed 3 as Disney was still trying to control crowds. And it's going to be interesting to see how the crowds kind of, continue to grow in preparation for October 1st for the 50th anniversary. So that's going to be something that we're going to see. Are there going to be parks that are shut down, such as Hollywood Studios and Magic Kingdom, since just capacity-wise, they can't hold as many people as Animal Kingdom and Epcot.
Now, when we recently went to the parks, I believe there still was a capacity limitation. Do you think that is going to be put in place in October?
I don't know what they're going to do with capacity. I think obviously there's going to be tons of people starting to come late September for the gearing up for the 50th anniversary. Again, the 50th anniversary celebration is going to last at least 18 months. So we never know what that number is, what that percentage is, as far as it's 40% capacity, right. It's 60% capacity. And a lot can change, people's plans, depending upon where we are in the world at the given time that somebody needs to travel, could definitely, change, gears in what people are going to do. So I think that is something that, we will continue to keep an eye on and the trends for it. Park hopper, same thing. It's going to continue, but you have to obviously go into the park that you made the reservation for before you can hop to your next park after 2 p.m. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens with the 50th anniversary.
Can I make one little tip here in regards to the park hopping? Just only because we went, last month, and we never booked Epcot first thing because it opens at 11, and typically you have Magic Kingdom and Hollywood Studios open earlier. So then, therefore, you want to try to hit those parks earlier, maybe even rope drop. And then, of course, you can park hop over into Epcot later. Not unless you want to do a little bit of like a, stay at the resort for the morning and then head on over to Epcot. But because of this new policy, I thought that was a really great way to structure your day. So if you're trying to get the best, trying to experience all that Disney has to offer, you don't have to wait, until 11 o'clock to go to the one park where you can go start at another park and then, hop on over there. So, I was just clicking around Disney's website and I just found all the different types of discounts that are offered with the pass holder when you purchase a pass holder. And for merchandise, I see it's a huge majority of it is 20%. I'm scrolling through pages and pages of places where you could buy things where it's at Epcot or Disney Springs, and there's a couple 10%, maybe 1, 2, 15, but the majority is 20. However, when you go over to Disney Dining, definitely not as many pages, and the vast majority is it's entertainment and events. That's where you're going to see the 15% off. And then if I head on over to dining, let's just take a look here. Dining's a lot of 10%. So it's interesting that, would you say that keyword was up to 20%?
Right.
Yeah, no, and you definitely see the, the percentages here. And something that we did notice when we were at, when we had our last stay there, is that there are certain places that don't accept, per se, the discount. This is something I actually need to look into. Galaxy's Edge didn't accept if you had a DVC a card, and usually you get a discount there.
Right, DVC annual pass members get discounts.
Correct. So I just found this information here, and I thought it was very helpful since we were just talking about it.
Yeah, and so there's a couple other things. I know you were just mentioning hours. Obviously, Epcot's International Food and Wine Festival is still going on. Disney just released this week, not much of November, but up to November 1st, they have released their hours, and they have expanded them. So Magic Kingdom is still 9 a.m. To 9 p.m. Park hoppers run from 2 o'clock to 9. Epcot's now going to open at 10 a.m. to 10 p.m., again, park hoppers will run 2 o'clock to 10 p.m., and this is just for November 1st, but all of October is out as well. Hollywood Studios is 9 to 9 and 2 to 9 for park hopping, and Animal Kingdom is 8 a.m. to 7 p.m.
Wow. Okay.
And park hopping is 2 to 7. So there are, they did add that hour in for Epcot, and do remember they are adding those extra magic hours, trying to entice people to stay on property. They're going to have the early morning magic hours, and then it's only a half hour, I should say, in the morning, and then the extra hour in the evening for select Disney hotels, which is the deluxe line of hotels. So, you can definitely check, the calendar to see, what is accessible. I still don't know how they're going to police that. Like if you're staying at Port Orleans versus Polynesian, they just don't let you on the rides. Of course, they want you to spend the money in the park. So it's going to be interesting to see how they police that.
Right. We thought about maybe perhaps, it would, You have to scan your Magic Band when you get there, or if you get like the little card in replace of a Magic Band. But I don't know. It's going to be interesting. Something that we are going to, keep our eyes and ears open so that we can be able to tell you how it works.
Right. I mean, the early theme park, extra magic hours and everything. Obviously, prior to the pandemic, there were certain days that Walt Disney World would open an hour early and stay 2 hours later for Walt Disney World Resort Hotel guests and those staying at, obviously, the Swan Dolphin Hotels in Disney Spring area. So the extra magic hours haven't been brought back, until recently. They're going to have that early theme park entry. And, I think part of that's also to assist with the 50th anniversary crowds that they're expecting. So that was the big news. Obviously, that was breaking today, regarding annual passes. People can purchase them now. All 4 tiers are available.
What I would like to know, and you can put that in, our comments or if you want to screenshot the fact that you're listening to us and tag us on social media. And you can sit there and say, yes, we are investing in our annual pass, or maybe not. We'd be interested to hear, especially if there are any Disney enthusiasts that live in Florida. We'd like to know your say, or past Disney annual pass holders.
Right. A couple other notes news that came out this week so far. Expedition Everest, a fan favorite at Animal Kingdom. It's going to be closed for refurbishment starting January 4th of 2022 through April. Well, they haven't released the actual date in April, but let's be honest, refurbishments, they can take longer. They can speed things up. Who knows? But as of right now, Expedition Everest at Animal Kingdom is going to be closed as they address the ride system starting January 4th, and they are giving a timeline of 2 April 2022. So that's one thing. We're awaiting more details on that. Also, one of our guys' favorite rides at Animal Kingdom, Cali River Rapids, will be closed starting November 1st through November 18th, again for refurbishment. So, make sure if, you want those rides, don't try to get on them. That's all I can tell you about that.
What I'd like to see with Cali River Rapids, I don't know if they could do this in 3 weeks, but I would like for them to make it longer. Because it was so much fun, but I felt like we got on it, we went down a hill, and then we were done. But I don't know. We'll have to see if the next time we go, if, what are the refurbishments that took place.
Yeah, I don't see how they're going to be able to put a whole new river in 17 days, Heather.
New one.
Yeah, they're not going to slow your boat down. It's called River Rapids. You're supposed to go fast. So I don't know how they're going to slow it down.
All right.
Big thing, they've started to, annual pass holders, DVC members, have been able to get sneak peeks of Remy's Ratatouille Adventure.
So exciting. We have been stalking our friends that have had this access, and everybody's initial reaction after they come off the ride or after they walk through, this area is they are just in awe. They are smiling. There's tears of excitement. So I can't wait to go there and feel the same. But from the basis of the ride is more like an experience, from what we have seen. And this is all through, like social media and blogs sharing their initial reactions. And I think based on what we saw, Andrew, I think we could probably relate it to Mickey's Runaway Rail.
Well, it's got the same kind of system where it's a trackless ride.
Right.
There may be people who have not had the opportunity to experience Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Rail at Hollywood Studios because it opened up very early March of 2020, and then the park shut down probably about 2-3 weeks later. Right. So there's a lot of people who have not experienced that. If you have been able to get on that, or I should say, Rise of the Resistance, same kind of ride with these trackless rides. There's no track, if you can imagine, that you have to stay between. When I think about tracks, I think about when Braden tries to drive a car at Tomorrowland and all I do is go left and right and bounce back and forth the whole time. These don't have that. It's amazing technology that Disney and the Imagineers have done with having a trackless ride. And as Heather was saying, the Remy's Ratatouille Adventure. There's already one in Disneyland Paris, which, we'll have to talk about another time because they're going to be celebrating their 30th anniversary coming up soon next year in 2022. But it's gotten a lot of rave reviews there. So the entire France Pavilion in Epcot has been expanded, and Remy's Ratatouille Adventure is basically the whimsical attraction that's inspired by Remy and the movie Ratatouille. Anyone can cook, right? With Gusteau, the chef, in the restaurant Gusteau's. It's very family friendly. There's no height requirements, so kids at heart like me can join the adventure. And it's basically like you're shrunk down to the size of the little chef, Remy, as you race through Gusteau's restaurant, and you're creating a dish with Remy. So the scenes, the props, the characters, everything featured through the attraction all gives, due diligence and nod to the key parts of the film. So it definitely looks like a Parisian theater with, a classic marquee and everything we've seen, the gold leaf and nearly 200 lights.
And I can also tell you that it's 3D, so it's definitely going to have those moments where it seems like something is going to, come out. I think it was like a cork from like a bottle comes out, and a couple other things. So that I think is pretty cool. So you're going to need your glasses, and Disney will supply them for you. So I think that's going to be.
So the entire France Pavilion basically has had a facelift and an expansion. So definitely something to see as you visit Epcot on your next Walt Disney World trip. They have the creperie, which is going to be very cool.
I love crepes, by the way.
They're good. But it's also like it's trying to put you as the fantastical world of Remy's France from Ratatouille and put you there in real life. So it's definitely cool with the, the color palettes, and they always have the hidden details. The Imagineers, when they're creating things, they have a ton of hidden details all throughout the parks. Our kids are used to seeing the hidden Mickeys, but now there's hidden Remy's, all throughout the France Pavilion. So something definitely, to definitely check out the next time you are in Epcot at Walt Disney World. All right, well, we covered a lot of information regarding annual passes. A lot of stuff came out today. Again, you can purchase your annual passes if it's something that you're interested in. One more note on annual passes. As I think about the pricing, and if you're not a Florida resident, I feel like your break-even point, you have to be going 12 to 14 days. But again, it's based on what works for you, what works for your family. Are you going to be able to make multiple trips? You have to calculate, what's going to work. And those blackout days is a big thing as well, to ensure that when you are planning on going, you're going to be able to get a park reservation, for those dates. So it'll be interesting to see, how the sales go for all of the annual pass tiers at Walt Disney World. That being said, if you are planning a Disney vacation, please reach out, bookmdtravel.com. One of our Magical Destinations travel agents will be more than willing to help assist you in planning and a no-obligation quote for your upcoming vacation.
And just as a reminder, there is no fee if you were to use an agent here at Magical Destination Travel. So it's not an added expense for you. And really, the agents at Magical Destination Travel just want to ensure that they are taking the overwhelm away so that you can enjoy your vacation before it even starts and ensure that it's nothing short but magical.
Once again, you can find us on all the social networks. Heather, hit them with the socials.
Instagram is Magical Destinations Travel Co. Twitter is Magical Dest Trav. And then on Facebook, you can find us at Magical Destinations Travel.
That's it. So until next week's episode, everybody stay safe, stay well, and we'll talk to you soon. Get all those vibes.
Find Disney vibes for all your vacation needs on the web at bookmdtravel.com.